Good morning, class. Today we are going to start with science, and we are going to get right into it because we have our PBL. So you should have just be on the next page in the matter and change part of your ultimate science notebook. So there should be the chemistry gossip page, which you finished on Thursday, and then our pug page, which is right next to it. So it says STEAM/PBL challenge, matter and change introduction story, the disappearing pea. So read this by yourself, or you can follow along with me in your book with like an eraser following along, or you can choral read this with me out loud. So starting in 3, 2, 1. Yep, Waffles cried out. It was 4 a.m. and she had to pee. Ruff, said Donut, which meant something like, go back to sleep. Megan the scientist is a very sound sleeper, and though she was very attentive to her dogs and their needs, it is hard to wake her up in the middle of the night. Yep, said Waffles. I can't sleep. I have to pee. Ruff, said Donut. You should have gone before we went to bed. Yep, whimpered Waffles. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Ruff, it's your fault. Megan had to refill your water bowl twice because you were drinking so much. Yep, said Waffles. I was thirsty. I accidentally licked some salt off the floor. Donut barked back. Well, you know Megan doesn't like to be woken up. Control your bladder. Yep, whispered Waffles, which meant something like, okay, I will try. Waffles did try for the first 2 minutes, but then the urge to go overtook her. She got up out of her doggy bed and started walking around the home. She knew Megan went in the toilet, but the giant white bowl towered over Waffles. She tried to get in the bathtub, thinking that might be easier, but her tummy got stuck on the edge of the tub. She went to the living room and sat down in despair. Then something glorious happened. By sheer coincidence, it seemed that Megan left the door open. Megan never forgot something so simple as leaving the door open. Waffles saw the open air, the grass that awaited her with sweet relief. She got up and started running towards the cool night air. Then, smack! Waffles ran straight into the glass. Oof! Waffles barked to herself. I keep forgetting glass doesn't mean open. Megan should really put up a sign or something. She looked down and realized she had no longer had to pee. She realized that in her effort and bounding towards the new glass door, she had wet herself and gotten it all over the tile. Waffles was ashamed. She hadn't peed inside the house since her time as a puppy. Ashamed, she waddled back up to bed. She was very sad about her accident. She knew Megan the scientist would still love her, but she knew that Megan would be very upset. However, now that she had relieved herself, she was able to fall into a deep sleep. In the morning, Waffles could smell Megan the scientist making her traditional eggs and bacon. Waffles looked over and noticed that Donut was gone. When she went downstairs, she saw her owner smiling at her warning. Good morning, Waffles. Waffles looked over sheepishly at the place where she knew the pea would be, but it was gone. She smiled, shocked. I must be a magical pug, which is what I think my pug thinks all the time. So, for today, your job is to write down in this section, was it really magic? What is the most probable, should say probable, not probably, explanation for what happened to Waffles? Be sure to use as many vocabulary terms as you can in retelling story. So here are some words that I'm looking for. Actually, let me make sure that I didn't put it. So if you flip over 2 pages, so I'm going to walk you through this. So you have this page. We're turning the page. This is the page that you're filling out today. We're turning the page. We're turning the page past the fortune teller to the rubric, because this will always tell you, not just for my class, but for every class you ever have from now, even in my master's degree classes, they still give rubrics, still tells you exactly what you need. Make sure that you always follow rubrics. Teachers do honestly tell you exactly what they expect from you and exactly what you want most of the time if they're not a cotton-headed ninny muggins. So make sure you're using that rubric to inform how you're doing whatever project it is. So for this one, it says, in the novice and expert, students use the terms accurately. So it's showing you here what terms you're expected to use. So if it was me, I would use a highlighter, crayon, colored pencil, marker to highlight this, circle this, gel pen it up. What words do I need to include in this essay to get me full credit? Those are liquid, gas, evaporation, as well as several other key vocabulary words. The reasoning says the student gave well thought out and detailed elaborated descriptions. all descriptions are accurate. So if you give me a 1-sentence answer, that's not going to be full expectation. I'm expecting a lot more. So the rest of this is related to the other sections, which we're going to conquer in the next 2 days. So let's flip back to our language arts science connection. So make sure you're using solid, liquid, gas, and evaporation. Because I want to challenge you, I want you to explain to me why it's not condensation, giving it away, and make sure you also use freezing, melting, and condensation. So you need to use all of those terms: solid, liquid, gas, melting, evaporating, condensing, and freezing. You want to tell me which one it is and why it's not some of the other ones. You want to also tell me, is this a physical change or a chemical change, and how you know. Okay, so those are the key things I'm looking for. On this page, interesting note, this is your rough draft. Tomorrow, you are going to be writing a final draft on Wizer.Me. So that's what I'm actually going to be grading and looking for and talking to you about when I call you. So make sure that you're doing a good job today writing out all your thoughts, organizing them, using all those vocab terms, highlighting those vocab terms and crossing them off your rubric. Those are all good things that will get you a good grade on this, but will also prepare you to do well in middle school, which is really my honest goal at this point in the year. So make sure you finish that for today. That is our science, along with watching What is an Engineer, in honor of Jordan Marquez, our student of the day and also our birthday boy. So make sure that you are doing the best quality job that you can, and I will see you in language arts.